Versatile.
Versatile.
Yeah.
I like this word.
Very flexible choices. Yes.
It's like versatile. It's everything. Very cool server.
Yeah. Hello again, my name is David Watts and I'm here with Ilya Krutov.
Hi.
And we are going to talk today about the new IBM System X, the 3650 M5. These are brand new servers we just announced, and as you can see we've got here today 3 different variations, but they're all essentially the same system. These are a 2U rack mount system with the latest Intel processors. So Ilya, these are the follow-ons to our current 3650 M4, M4 HD and M4 BD. How have we managed to do that?
Yeah, that's right. X3650 M5 is a versatile system, and the primary reason for that is because it has very flexible storage options. And as you know, there is no one size fits all, and that's not the case with 3650 M5. So basically it has very flexible storage options that allow you to have maximum internal storage for your big data applications, or it will allow you to have a lot of 2.5-inch storage for high performance applications and high performance storage. So basically this system can be used for different types of workloads, including big data, analytics, all virtualization, cloud computing, infrastructure services. Basically, this one is the most popular server.
So you can see in the 3 models we have here, the top one is a storage-rich configuration. This has 12 3.5-inch hot swap drives. These can be up to 6 terabytes each. A new 512E format. We'll talk about that in a moment. This unit in the middle is again 3.5-inch drive bays, but it also allows for an optional optical disk drive, DVD-ROM or multi-burner, and a new LCD panel, light path panel that we're offering in this machine. And then at the bottom is a configuration that has this particular one has 2.5-inch drive bays. It has 8 of them, but this variation can be expanded from 8 2.5-inch bays to 16 all the way to 24 bays at the front. There are also drive bays at the rear of the server. We'll get to those in a moment. But you can see here it's just 3 examples of several different configurations of storage drive capacities and form factors. You can see this one here has the LCD panel, whereas this one it's got just a blank bezel.
So which means, like, for this machine the LCD panel is standard, and for this machine it is optional.
Yes, yes.
And also simple swap 2.5-inch and 3.5-inch drive models are available.
Yep. You can see also on the front while we're here 2 USB 2.0 connectors and then a USB 3. These storage-rich configurations, this one at the top here, has just 2 USB connectors at the front. They all have a VGA video port at the front for ease of access. If you're in a data center environment, that's usually very convenient. So that's the front of the machine. Let's go around and have a look at the back, shall we?
Sure, absolutely.
All right, so here we are at the back of the machines, and you can see that the choices are drives or adapters or combinations. So as well as the 12 3.5s or the 24 2.5s at the front, this server also allows you to have 1 or 2 3.5-inch drives, or 1 or 2 2.5-inch drives, or even for some configurations both. What do we work out was the maximum capacity for this machine?
I think
84 terabytes?
More than 86 terabytes.
86, yeah, so some monstrous number. Remember, these are 6 terabyte 3.5-inch drives.
Right.
So there's an awful lot of capacity in this machine. Now, these other machines, the 2 bottom ones, instead of the drive cages, are PCIe slots. So there are 1, 2, 3 PCIe slots here. There are 2 vertical PCIe slots in the middle, and there is space on here. If you don't have the 3.5-inch bays at the back, there is space for 3 more slots here. You can see the space for those.
So basically for a total number of 8 slots, right?
Right, eight rear-facing slots. There is also an additional 9th slot internally for a radio controller. We'll look at that in a second. What are the other ports we've got along here?
Yeah, so here we have management port, dedicated management port, VGA port, 2 USB 3.0 ports, also 4 1 gigabit Ethernet ports,
and you missed your 2 USB 2s here.
Yeah, 2 USB 2s here.
Yep.
I didn't see it.
Yep.
And up to 2 hot swap power supplies. So what are these power supplies?
Yeah, there are 4 variations that you can get in this machine. These ones are the 750 watt power supplies. There's also a 550 and a 900 watt power supply, and all 3 of those are 80 plus platinum energy efficient power supplies. And there is actually a 4th power supply, which is a 750 watt titanium, and 80 plus titanium, which is even higher grade of energy efficiency. That's available for this system. So with 4 power supply choices, quite a flexible configuration that's available there. So let's open up the machines and have a look inside. So what we have here underneath this air baffle, let me remove this, the big reveal. So we have space for 2 processors. You can see this one has 1 processor installed, and there's space for another. This is a pre-production model, by the way, so the systems that will be shipped may look a little bit different, but the fundamentals are all the same. 24 DIMM sockets. What's the processor memory configuration, Ilya?
First of all, the X3650 M5 uses Intel Xeon processor E5-2600V3 product family. This is the next generation Intel Xeon processor family, and it features up to 18 cores, up to 45 megabytes of last level cache, and it also supports DDR4 memory with up to 2133 megahertz memory speed. So DDR4 features lower power consumption, therefore better power efficiency, higher speed up to 2133 megahertz, and faster access time, so lower latency. So basically more power efficient and high performing. The memory controller has 4 memory channels, and each channel has 3 memory DIMM slots on it. So basically it's all the same as with previous generation processors.
So you can see this particular machine here has 1 memory DIMM installed. This is, I think, that's either an 8 or a 16 gig DIMM. But each of the white DIMM slots is just to make it visually clear which is the first memory DIMM that you should install for each of the memory channels in the system. Each processor connects to 12 DIMM slots, so 12 and 12, total of 24. You can see there's a little label here that reminds you that these ones are not used until the second processor is installed. You can see that the processor has this funky heatsink arrangement.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Why does the heatsink has this interesting
It's
shape?
basically so that when you have the PCIe riser installed here with 3 PCIe slots, you can actually have full length slots.
That's brilliant.
This machine, if you order the machine through CTO, through the factory, you can actually have it with GPUs, NVIDIA GPUs, and Intel coprocessors, Intel Xeon Phi coprocessors, and those are full-length double-wide adapters, and they are supported in this system, and that's why we have this weird-looking heatsink that seems to not quite work. But yes, our thermal engineers have figured out what they need to do to cool the system.
Okay. And what's the maximum maximum amount of memory supported by this system?
Well, so the machine supports RDIMMs and LRDIMMs. I believe the plan of record to support 64 gig LRDIMMs. So with a full complement of those, that's up to 1.5 terabytes of RAM.
Yeah, huge amount of
That's
memory.
a lot of memory, that's for sure. Yes. So that's the processor and memory. In front of that, the hot swap fans. When you have just one processor, then you get 4 hot swap fans standard. When you buy the second CPU, then you get the additional 2 fans, for a total of 6 hot swap fans, and that provides cooling through to the front. The processors and memory are aligned with the fans so that they all get very consistent cooling front to back. Ahead of that, of course, is our disk drive bays, backplanes. We talked about at the beginning of the video that there are a lot of different storage configurations, and to match that, there are a number of different storage backplanes. For example, if you want to have all 3.5-inch drives connected to one run RAID controller, along with the two 3.5-inch drives at the back, 14 drives,
Right.
you can actually connect all of those into one RAID controller, one backplane. Or if you want maximum performance, you can actually have 3 backplanes. If you have the 2.5-inch drive models, 24 drives at the front, you can actually have 3 backplanes connected to 3 different RAID controllers for maximum performance, 8 drives per controller. So a lot of flexibility there as well.
Yeah, and what about 2.5-inch drive bays?
So let's look at this here. So this is the machine that has the rear-mounted 2.5-inch drives. So let me just pop that out, and you can see, if I turn it around, that there are 2 drive bays, and underneath is a RAID card. This is the ServRAID M1215. Is that right? Yeah.
Right.
So this plugs into the riser card on the riser slot 1 on the system board, and this RAID card its sole purpose is to drive the 2 drives in the back here. And you put your operating system on these, and probably use RAID 1 for redundancy purposes. So this is where you'd have your operating system, and you put all your data, all your applications on the drives in the front.
Yes, when you specifically mentioned that you can use both 2.5-inch drives on the rear and 3.5-inch drives on the rear and on the front.
Yes, yeah. The configuration choices allow all sorts of different combinations. So that's. I'll put that over here for now.
Right.
Well, actually, while we're here, let's look at this here. This is another riser variation. There are actually 4 different risers that are available in addition to the 2 drive cages. This one here, for example, is 3 PCIe 3 by 8 slots. So these are by 8 electrically and by 16 physically. That's the by 16 connector. So this is one variation. Another variation would be where you have the 2 by 8s and an ML2 adapter slot. What's so good about the ML2 adapter?
Yeah, the good thing about this ML2 adapter is it looks kind of like an integrated networking adapter, which means it can be used for accessing management module management interface in addition to the dedicated management port.
And ML2 stands for Mezzanine LOM, or LAN on Motherboard Generation 2. And it's available in 10 gig Ethernet, RJ45 or SFP, and there are also 1 gig variations as well. So those are 2 different riser cards. A third and fourth are ones where instead of having 2 PCIe by 8 connectors, you have 1 PCIe by 16, and that's for the GPUs. So if you have a full-length double-wide GPU, then you would use one of the riser cards that has just 1 slot at the top for the GPU, and then 1 slot at the bottom for Ethernet, ML2 card, and so on.
Right.
Let's pop that back. Okay, so that's the PCIe riser card cage. Let me pull this unit out. So this is the 3.5-inch drive cage. Doesn't need a RAID card, doesn't have a card attached to it. So here's the connector here that connects the SAS interface of the drives, and that would go to one of the RAID controllers installed in the system.
Right.
This has a riser connector. It's not used as PCI in this instance. It's more for power and signaling. So let's.
Before I put it back. So what about this one? What's this?
Oh yes, okay. Let's put that over there for me. So this is a special dedicated slot just for a RAID controller. This one is the ServRAID 5210.
Right.
Supports
12 gig controller.
12 gig controller. Yes, that's a good point. Actually, we forgot to mention that before.
Yes, that's what I thought.
The whole disk subsystem in this machine is the new 12 gig SAS and SATA connections. 6 gig. Not anymore. This is 12 gig end to end.
Yeah, of course it supports 6 gigabit SAS drives as well, but the infrastructure is designed for 12 gigabit.
Yeah. So this adapter is effectively our 9th slot, because we have the up to 8 slots at the back, and this special slot here just for the RAID controller. And you can see this one here, the 2 SAS ports are connected through to the backplane at the front. This card supports onboard cache, and there are 1 gig, 2 gig, and 4 gig choices. There is also support for the flash-backed cache.
Right.
And in fact, if I show you the air baffle for the process, you can see that there are the spaces for the supercapacitors here, so that they get the maximum air cooling. For the simple swap hard drive configurations, we offer 2 SATA ports, and these are routed through to the front then, just for simple swap configurations.
Yeah, so you can have very basic entry-level GPOD model.
Looking further down towards the back of the machine, our traditional USB port for an embedded hypervisor, VMware ESX, vSphere supported. This connector here is also an indicator of something that's going to be new. I don't have one of the units to show you. This is a connector for an SD card, a dual SD card connector. So you'll be able to use 2 SD cards and have VMware installed on those. Those will be bootable devices again.
Right.
The component that plugs here and screws into this socket here has a built-in RAID capability, RAID 1, so that the 2 SD cards will back each other up to provide an additional level of redundancy. So you would use this device instead of the USB port for VMware. These are this is the cage for the power supplies. This unit here is just an interposer that allows you to connect the second power supply to the system board. I believe that this unit is actually standard with the system.
Yeah, it's a very cool server.
So there you have it. This is the new IBM System X3650 M5. It's a 2-socket server from IBM, and it has the latest Intel Xeon processors.
Yes, Intel Xeon processor E5 2600 with 3 product family.
Yep. With DDR4 memory and 12 gig SAS and a lot of very new cool features.
Yeah, very flexible, very reliable, very versatile.
Yep. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.